Hey everyone, welcome to our dive into the vibrant world of Filipino art. Forget dry textbooks because today we're exploring the legends who didn't just paint pictures, they painted our national identity. We're talking about the masters, the classical giants, and the triumvirate, the revolutionaries who dragged Philippine art into the modern age. Before we move on, let me introduce our members. The Lumpines Julian Avriel Hale, Fernando Skylagunet, Gitones John Paul, Refugia, Maria Isabel, and Reyes Chelsea Margaret. We start with the guys who basically invented the picture of the beautiful, peaceful Philippines, Fabian de la Rosa, the cool uncle. He's the original master, born in Manila, and fun fact, he taught his famous nephew Fernando Amorsolo how to paint. He was even the first Filipino to head the UP School of Fine Arts. He's the reason that classic academic style started looking Filipino. Let us check out his painting Planting Rice. This version of painting you see was made in 1921 using oil on canvas and is another version of his 1904 Planting Rice that won his first gold award. Fabian is a master of realism art. From this painting, you can analyze with the muddy palayan that this painting is set in the time of the monsoon season of planting rice. Considering as well the color of the clouds, which are orange in hue, that makes it seem like a sunrise. Fabian well depicted the rural life in the Philippines with the nipa hut in the background and the clothes of the farmers. Another is one of his portraits, The Young Filipina, made in 1928. This painting is an oil on canvas and reflects a European portraiture. The Filipina appears to be in thought, occupied by her own mind. De la Rosa used light and shadow to define the contours of the face of the subject and evoke emotional depth, deflecting the expectations and views of the Americans on Filipino women as it was done during the American
I'll be sharing
colonization.
with you the work and legacy of Fernando Amorsolo, widely celebrated as the grand old man of Philippine art. He was the very first national artist of the Philippines, and he gave us a glowing, idealized vision of Filipino life, literally through his mastery of light and rural theme. Amorsolo is best known for his luminous paintings of provincial life using what we now call the Amorsolo light, a technique where everyday scenes seems to glow with warmth. His works help shape our visual identity as a nation, celebrating everything from farming to femininity. Palay Maiden is one of his most iconic works. It shows a young Filipina holding stalks of rice. But this is more than just a pretty picture. Armasolo is portraying her as a symbol of the nation itself. Beautiful, fertile, strong. The rice she carries represents both livelihood and life. Amorsolo painted many versions of planting rice, starting in the early 1920s. In each one, we see farmers bending together in rhythm with the land. Under the radiant sun, these paintings are celebrations of Filipino resilience and harmony with nature, reminding us of the central role of agriculture in our culture and economy. Under the mango tree, we see a family resting and socializing in the shade. It's a peaceful, familiar image, but it's also a visual reminder of the Filipino values: warmth, hospitality, and strong family ties. Amorsolo often painted not just places, but the feelings and traditions tied to them. These two works focus on the Filipina. Girl with the Jar shows a woman in the act of labor, while the Lagang Filipina captures youthful grace. Amorsolo consistently portrayed women with respect and admiration. Graceful, modest, and dignified, his paintings celebrate everyday beauty and moral virtue. In Fruit Gatherer, Amorsolo idealizes the countryside as lush, abundant, and eternally fruitful. It's romanticized image, yes, but it reflects a deep appreciation for rural life and a hopeful vision of a prosperous Philippines, grounded in its natural resources and traditions.
So, the classic masters gave us the sunshine. But in the late 1920s, a few artists came back from abroad and said, wait, where's the struggle? The real life. These three guys, Victoria Edades, Galo Ocampo, and Botong Francisco, started a revolution. They brought modernism, using rough lines, rich shapes, and dark colors to show emotions. They are the triumvirate. Who was Victoria Edades? He was born in 1895, Dagupan, Pangasinan. His style was modernism, like expressionism. His significance, father of modern Philippine painting, challenged the popular, sunny academic style, introduced modernism and expressionism to the Philippines. Edades returned from the US, ready to shake things up. He used darker colors and rough brushwork, believing art should show the struggles of ordinary life. So Victoria Edades, the one who started the whole fight, studied in the US and came back with a dark, emotional style called Expressionism. His biggest bomb was painting the buildings. Its significance? Total shocker. Instead of a beautiful sunset, we see huge, rough, distorted construction workers in muddy colors. The figures are exaggerated to show how hard they're working. What it meant? Edades was saying art should also show hardship of reality of ordinary people, not just the pretty side. This break from the norm is why he's called the father of modern Philippine painting. His first exhibit was revolutionary, featuring these key pieces: the builders. This massive His first exhibit was revolutionary, used muddy colors and distorted figures of construction workers to convey the harsh reality of labor. Used muddy colors and distorted figures of construction workers to convey the harsh reality raw of and social. It was shocking and a declaration that next up is the sketch, or the artist and the model. It shows an artist and a model using bold visible brushwork and contrasting hues. This piece broke away from conservative techniques and inspired younger artists. And lastly, interaction. A large-scale collaborative modernist painting. It was crucial because it showed the shared vision and maturity of Philippine modernism, moving the focus from idealized scenes to explorations of reality and perception. And lastly,
After the great Victoria Edades, we'll be exploring the life and works of Galo B. Ocampo, one of the pioneers of modernist art in the Philippines. A member of Triumvirate, along with Victoria Edades and Carlos Bottom Francisco. Ocampo played a key role in challenging colonial and academic traditions in the country. Ocampo was not just a painter, he was a cultural reformer. He redefined religious and historical themes by merging Catholic iconography with distinctly Filipino elements. His works reflect a deep commitment to identity, spirituality, and national consciousness. One of Ocampo's most iconic works is the Brown Madonna. Here, he replaces the traditional European Madonna and Child with Filipino figures. Brown-skinned, wearing native attire like the Baratsaya, the background shows a rural Philippine setting. This was a bold move, challenging colonial religious imagery and asserting a Filipino spiritual identity. Stylistically, Brown Madonna uses modernist techniques, flat surfaces, bright colors, and minimal perspective. It's not just about the representation, it's a political and cultural act. By localizing the Holy Family, Ocampo made religion feel personal and relatable to Filipinos. Flagellantes is part of a powerful series reflecting Ocampo's post-war psyche. The hooded figures whipping themselves symbolize penance and suffering. The strange underwater setting, blending a church floor and a sea floor, adds a surreal, dreamlike quality that speaks to subconscious trauma and historical memory. The veiled Christ, war-torn background, and surreal environment offer a metaphor for the Filipino panata or sacred vow. It captures a nation wrestling with pain, faith, and the long road to healing after the devastation of World War II. In crucifixion, we see Christ not elevated or divine, but human walking with the flagellants, symbolizing shared suffering. The ruined church in the distance reflects both spiritual and national ruin. This painting expresses deep emotional rawness, typical of a campus post-war style. For the next one, River of Life. It reinterprets the baptism of Christ not as a peaceful, holy moment but as a disturbing, almost apocalyptic scene. The acidic colors and jag forms create tension. It's a visual meditation on life, sacrifice, and the certainty of suffering. Lastly, the self-portrait of Gallo B. Ocampo, created later in life, reflects deep introspection with surrealist elements. This piece explores his identity as an artist and his legacy in a changing Philippine society. It's symbolic rather than literal, representing the artist as a thinker and witness to history.
And finally, the amazing Carlos Botong Francisco, nicknamed the Poet of Angono. He was a muralist, painting huge, flowing, dramatic walls of art. His style, he used a unique, flowing, linear style, almost like a colorful comic book, but super epic. He painted Philippine history and village life with tons of energy. One of his key works was Bayanihan, made in 1962. This painting is pure Filipino spirit. You see people, Filipino people, happily lifting a nipo hut together, and the fluid lines make the whole thing feel alive and energetic. Bottom proved that you could see a cool modern style to celebrate the beauty of everyday Filipino life and traditions. Personally, one of my favorites is Sinigang, made in 1959, as it plays in the themes and warm colors of an actual sinigang meal. He won major awards and showed everyone that national identity could be dynamic and modern.
Botong was a muralist whose unique, flowing, linear painting style captured the heart and spirit of the Filipino people with vibrant color and movement. His five major works celebrated and reflected Filipino life. Kaingin of 1948 depicts a slash and burn farming method with raw energy and motion. This piece won first prize at a major national exhibition, solidifying modernicism's place. Nose Flute of 1955, a large-scale work showing a courtship of ritual from a northern Philippine tribe. Its epic proportions and vibrant colors showcased cultural identity and pride. Sinigang of 1959, a tender and intimate portrait of a family gathered around a sinigang meal. Botong elevated the simple everyday Filipino moment to high art, emphasizing family warmth. Bayanihan of 1962, the famous scene of a Filipino community lifting a nipa hut. It is a dynamic celebration of the Asian Filipino value of communal cooperation. Kamote Diggers of 1969, unfinished as his final somber work. It portrays the strenuous labor and poverty of the Filipino farmer, offering a raw, reflective commentary of a national hardship.
The significance of these artists is that they didn't just imitate European styles, they took them and made them undeniably Filipino. They gave us a visual language to understand our history, our struggles, and our deep cultural heart. So next time you see a piece of Filipino art, remember these names.